You're listening to Hearing the Silence of a Convicted Mind. I'm Chameleon. I don't chase noise, I study silence. Let's listen carefully. The case was closed. The sentence was final. But the language didn't stop. When a convicted mind speaks, most people listen for regret. I listen for rehearsal. Today, routes, directions. Drop-offs and lefts that sound like errands and read like blueprints. Route language, it's how movement is rehearsed through speech. It's how a network outside is kept ready inside a cell block. Context, brief. The voice I studied is a fictional composite, an organizer convicted for coordinating a series of nonviolent conspiratorial actions. The conviction was complete, record sealed, calls archived for analysis. I reviewed routine recorded calls over several months. What felt off wasn't content alone. It was the way space and movement were talked about, again and again. At first glance, the phrases were domestic. Drop it by, swing left at the light, back by 9. Casual, harmless. Yet certain markers kept recurring. The talk didn't describe past movement. It rehearsed future movement, mapped sequences, and tested responses. I flagged those calls to examine 3 things: language shift, the silence between words, and the small manipulations embedded in route talk. Analysis 1, the language shift. Route verbs are ordinary: go, drop, meet, leave. The shift happens when verbs are chained into sequences. You go there, then you come back, then you hand it off. Sequence creates logistics. Future-oriented phrasing replaces reflection. He didn't say, I went or we did. He said will and you'll. That future tense turns conversation into rehearsal. Listen for repetition. Not just the same words, but the same path. Left, left, quick left, as if walking it aloud. Pronoun shifts matter. I becomes you, then they. That movement of perspective distributes responsibility. It rehearses roles, assigns tasks, and diffuses accountability. Small domestic language masks function. Can you drop it by the corner? Sounds like an errand. But when repeated with timing cues, after lunch, before dark, it becomes a scaffold for action. The words form a map. The map scaffolds expectation. Analysis 2, the silence. Silence has patterns, not empty pauses. Punctuation. Notice the micro-timing before place names. A speaker will inhale, hold for a fraction, then place the name, the depot. That brief hold does 2 things. It highlights the node and allows the listener to imagine the route. Breath changes are diagnostic. A faster exhale after a directional cue often signals relief. The plan is acknowledged. A clipped, shallow breath before a place name signals caution, testing how the recipient will handle that note. Emotional flatness after directional instructions is also telling. The affect stays steady, the instruction remains procedural. You'll hear hesitation before geographic specificity. That space is an invitation to fill in details. It's a compliance window. Silence invites participation. Silence has patterns. Analysis 3, the manipulation. Route talk tests compliance through small asks. Can you swing by? Is low cost. It gauges willingness. If met with agreement, subsequent asks escalate. Drop it here, then head. Each affirmative reply becomes a data point. From inside custody, these small requests preserve outside influence. Domestic cues, grocery run language, family scheduling, reduce scrutiny. They make operational language sound benign. That camouflage is the technique. Softness in phrase, precision in sequence. Over time, networks rehearse logistics through everyday talk. Escalation insight. Conviction closes cases. It does not end cognition. Incarceration restricts movement, not strategy. Spatial language sustains networks by transforming places into steps. Node A, transfer B, meet C. That sequencing preserves roles. Who picks, who drops, who watches. Patterns repeat across different voices and contexts. When you see repeated directional structures, consistent hesitation points, and future tense sequencing, you are watching rehearsal, not reminiscing. The cognitive process adapts. The language adjusts to maintain functionality. The chilling realization. Maybe he wasn't reacting to questions. Maybe he had already practiced these routes aloud mentally before the call. Maybe the call was the last rehearsal. Short sentences now. The directions were precise. The pauses were timed. The pronouns shifted to assign tasks. He sounded calm because he had rehearsed calm. Controlled close. The core lesson route language is functional. It encodes movement, assigns roles, and tests compliance. Silence has patterns. If you want to spot rehearsal, listen for future tense, repeated sequencing, micro pauses before place names, and domestic camouflage. Subscribe to continue learning to hear what others miss. If you found this useful, press subscribe and let the pattern recognition deepen over time. Is the truth in what is said? Incarceration restricts movement. It does not restrict cognition. Some minds adapt. That's what I heard. Listen carefully. Silence always says something. I'm Chameleon Luter, the Chameleon, signing off.
They call it manipulation. Sometimes, it's adaptation to constant observation. Because when you know someone's always listening, you learn how to speak without saying everything.